Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I am Rabbi Benjamin, and I'm so glad to welcome all of you here to our services at Sinai. And of course, hello to everyone out there in internet land. It's so lovely to start our Shabbat together on this brisk. I woke up to snow this morning. I don't know if anyone else saw that. That was surprising. Also woke up to a car that had somehow jumped the curb and jumped a rock and was about this far off the ground. So please, as we enter this winter season, drive carefully. And if you need to drive about 10 miles an hour down the road, consider maybe you should not drive at all. That's your PSA for this evening. This evening we are praying out of Mishkan Tefillah. If you are online and you would like a copy of our virtual Siddur, you can find it at sinaireno.org/live. So we begin with a responsive reading, which can be found on page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. It is my great honor to invite up Jen and Connor to light our Shabbat candles. If you'd like to follow along, the blessings can be found on page 2. The matches are under the roof and the bottom of the roof that you can use as the strike plate. Pull off the roof. There you go. Bottom of the roof. Just turn that over. There you go. Get down, party people. Get down.
Too hard.
First timers.
Sorry.
There you go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. We continue with our welcoming of Shabbat with some songs. We will start with Maya Hayom, which can be found on page 10. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. And we turn over to page 12, and we will sing together Lechuna Ranana. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nikad mafanav todah. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmi wrote naria lo. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. And we turn to Lechado D, which begins on page 20. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th and final verse, I invite you, if you are able, to rise and turn to the entrance of the sanctuary or whatever space you are in this evening. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemu tiferet ve'letila. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, Ki mekor habracha, Mirosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orel kumi ori, uri shir daberi, Kivod Adonai like nigla. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tola, Toch emunei am sgula, Boi chala. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. B'vakasha לשבת. We continue together with Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26. Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabba. V'alma divrach urute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yom echon uv'chaye kol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, vimeru, amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarach, le'alam u'al me'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yithala, shemei dekudesha barichu, leila min kol birchata v'ashirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. We turn to page 28 and we rise in body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach. Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Together in the English in the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam can be found on the very next page. Ahavat Olam, Bet Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokmenu, kumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nage yomam v'layla, v'yahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue with the Shema, page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. V'akasha l'shevet. Please be seated. We continue together with the V'ahavta, page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vrechtecha v'derech u'shachpecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We read responsively the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha is on the very next page. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei ayam livnei Moshe, ze Elianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed V'nemar kifar Adonai et Yaakov ugalo mi'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. We read together the English on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, hapares sukat shalom aleinu. V'al kol amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. And we continue with Vishamru on page 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael od hi leolam, od hi leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Ki shesh yad yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. I love that everyone who is coming into the space and this is their first or one of their first experiences with Judaism thinks that is totally normal and they'll do that everywhere. So if someone says to you tonight, hey, it's my first time in, don't tell them that we're us and like a couple summer camps are the only place in the world probably that does it that way. Well, I think we're all ready and warmed up and to get into get into the thick of our praying. So we will turn to page 46 for the Amidah, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sefatai tivta ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot U'mimaot, U'mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, Sohomek noflim berofeh oholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit,
ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום ילוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are finished or when you feel ready. Ose Shalom can be found on page 62.
Ose Shalom Bimroma Uyase Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Imru Amen. Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
And we turn now to our Torah service, our Seder Kriyat HaTorah. We begin on page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. On this Shabbat, it is my honor to invite up John Luis to carry our Torah and Adam and Nikolai to open our Ark. Please come on up. We all rise and turn to page 246. Angels sing.
Ki mitzion tetze Torah. Ki mitzion tetze Torah. Udevar Adonai Merushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlul Adonai iti Uneromamo Shemo Yata Leha Adonai Hagadula Hagivura Vehatiferet Vehanetzach Vehaod Ki kol bashemayim uvaretz Ki kol bashemayim uvaretz V'hamlacha yamim lacha yamit nase lekol rosh al shlosha divarim al shlosha divarim al shlosha divarim haolam omed al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al gimilut chasadim al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al gimilut chasadim hallelu 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You may be seated. Thank you all. Thank you to Adam and Nikolai as well. Chanting Torah this evening will be Rabbi Myra Soifer, and for our Aliyah, we are pleased and honored to invite up Barton Barrow, Ya'amod Binyamin ben Eliezer la'aliyah haTorah. Right there.
Baruch et Adonai Hambaroch.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambaroch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Just for the record, the portion you have in your little green thing is not the portion. So
I mean, it's the portion, but not the
well,
portion
it's
we're
not
reading.
this
So
portion.
So you get extra Torah here, but
So
if
put
you're
them-
following along.
Put your little green things away.
That would have driven me crazy, so thank you for that.
Well, yeah.
And if you're learning Hebrew, you'd be really baffled. Like, I really thought
And,
I had this one.
Well, actually, you should have seen my face when I walked in and opened it up. And I will go back and try to translate it as best I can, so you'll know what I read after I chanted. Okay, you finished?
Yeah.
All right, my turn. Amen. Ba'adonai pakaret sarah kasher amah vayas Adonai l'sarah kasher diber Bataha bateled Sarah Abraham bein liskunahav lamoed asher diber oto Elohim vayikra Abraham et shem beno hanolad lo asher yalda lo Sarah Yitzchak vayamol Abraham et Yitzchak beno ben shmona chayamim kaasher ציווה אותו אלוהים, ואברהם בן 100 שנה, והיוולד לו את Yitzchak beno. It just occurred to me that not having it, none of you know if I did that right or not. You don't have a clue. All right. So here's the portion. And so God remembered Sarah just as God had said. The remembered is, if you remember last week's portion, it's when the visitors come and they tell Sarah that even though she's 90 years old, she's going to have a kid. She's finally going to get pregnant and bear a child. And lo and behold, God remembered that insane promise. Okay, so God,
You don't forget something like that.
you don't forget something like, and Sarah sure as heck remembered. Okay, so God remembered Sarah just as God had said, and Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh did with Sarah just as had been promised. In other words, she got pregnant, and Sarah gave birth. And Sarah bore to Abraham a son in his old age as well, just in the time frame that the people in the season that the visitors had promised, that God had promised by way of the visitors, and Abraham. Okay, and Abraham called the name of the son who had been born to him, just in this saga that you've just heard, and Sarah, of course, named him Isaac. And Abraham circumcised Isaac, his son, when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him to do. And just if you don't think this story is crazy enough, Abraham was 100 years old when he sired Isaac, his son. You're up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam notah b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher koach. Yasher koach to you, Rabbi. All right. Well, Barton, no, come on. You've been up here enough times. You know, don't go anywhere. We've got a prayer for you.
Oh, I get one too.
Yeah, we got blessings. Anyone who wants a blessing, we got lots of
Oh,
blessings.
well, I'll take one. I'll take several. You
All right,
got
yeah,
more?
I got a whole book of them.
Okay. Lay them on.
Mishaberach avotenu v'yimotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah.
Bilhah and Zilpah.
Thank you.
I'm on a campaign
got it,
here.
yeah. I saw the Google sign up. I'll put my name at the bottom. Bless you as you have come up to Torah in honor of God and Torah. May you merit from the Holy One of blessing, protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in your every endeavor, together with all Israel. And let us all say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi.
At this time, we think of those in our community who need a little bit of healing. Perhaps it is body or mind or spirit. On our list this Shabbat, we have Ruth Irene Ackroyd, Kevin Ashton, Kathy Bartlett, Tracy Bartlett, Batya Ta'ali, Pauline Bina, Gary Cecil, Laura Cohen, Oritzur Cohen, Megan Carney Cranmer, Martha Gould, Stephen Gould, Marlene Harris, Chester Hendricks, Pam Hendricks, Letitia Kruger, John Lutzker, Jason Matthews, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Batsara, Vivian Morgan, Tim Ober, Claire Petersky, Carol Pevney, the Ramirez Morgan family, Judy Ramos, Sarah Bat Chava, Harav Sarah Bat Yisrael Vashoshana, Terry Sayez, Chaya Schwartz, Shana Bracha Bat Esther Malka, Michael Ben Chana, Chris Stanton, Teresa Sussman, David Wagner, Vanessa Wagner, Bobby Wells, Asher Zelig, and we offer prayers for peace, healing, and remembrance for all of the lives lost to war and violence in the Middle East, to all of the military personnel serving at this time, to everyone affected by the coronavirus or long COVID, and to the Jewish and other communities of Ukraine. If there are other names that you wish to share and you are online, I encourage you to put those names into the comment section. And if you are present, I invite you to share those names when my eyes meet yours.
William Ramos, Steve Weidman, Ben Conteen, and Michael Perry.
Jeff and Jane.
Mike, Mac, Sarah Bachman.
For all of them, we offer our prayers of healing. Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach can be found on page 253. Please join me. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Habrecha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor Habrecha Liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It is my honor at this time to call up for Hagba and Galila, Tove McGilvray to lift our Torah, and to call up Steph Achen for our addressing of the Torah. I invite you to all rise. Just give people space. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai. We read responsively, page 257. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization.
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties.
But
The study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all.
Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. Page 256. Eitz Chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tocheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'kol nativotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yamenu Kekedem. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. You may be seated. There is a story in the Talmud about Abraham's servant Eliezer. Eliezer happened to come to a place and someone there wounded him. So Eliezer goes before a judge seeking compensation. And the judge turns to him and says, "Give your assailant a fee as he gave you a bloodletting." Eliezer, undaunted, picks up a stone and proceeds to wound the judge. The judge said, "What is this?" Sounds better in the Aramaic. Eliezer said to him, "I gave you a bloodletting. The fee that you owe me now, why don't you give that to the person that I owe, and I will keep my money." The place that this happened, that Eliezer had come to, says the Talmud, was the city of Saddam. In this Talmudic passage, the sages explain some of what was happening and what made that such a terrible place. They recall the 4 judges in Saddam, each named for their actions. There was Shakrai, meaning liar. There was Shakrurai, the habitual liar. Zephai, the forger, and Matzlei Din, the perverter of justice. But the malevolence of Saddam went beyond just legal matters. Eliezer also encountered a version of what the Greeks referred to as Procrustes' bed. Visitors to Saddam would be given a room with a bed in it. If the bed was too short, they would cut off the legs of the visitor. If the bed was too long, they would stretch the visitor out. Eliezer managed to escape this fate by refusing to sleep in the bed. But the legend tells us and demonstrates just how inhospitable the city was to visitors. In sharp contrast to the hospitality that begins this week's Torah portion, Abraham and Sarah welcoming strangers into their tent, showing them incredible hospitality and welcome, and Sarah being told that she will conceive. The Torah is insistent that we welcome strangers. 37 times we are told to welcome the stranger. It could not be more apparent that this is a value we are to uphold. We were strangers in the land of Egypt. It is then the barest exercise in empathy to understand how other immigrants and strangers feel. But this is not present in the city of Saddam, this wicked place. Rabbi Steve Greenberg writes, the people of Saddam are not only frightened of human need, they are also desperate to force everyone to fit a single measure. They have a well-to-do gated community that has both zoned out poverty and ensured that only our kind of folk will be welcome. But the sin of Saddam is much deeper than just inhospitality to strangers. Perhaps it reveals just what it means when people are divided into our kind and other. The inhospitality that was rife in Saddam goes along with the injustice that they also served out. It is the way that they treated people that made it so horrible. Then Adonai said, the outrage of Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grave. The word that the Torah uses, tza'ak, for outrage, but it can also be translated as cry. The cry coming out from Saddam was so great. We often focus on the immorality and the sinfulness of the cities as a whole. But this verse guides us to the cries of the people suffering there. It reminds us that there are victims of wickedness, cruelty, and hatred. Too often, those victims are within society itself, citizens, residents, neighbors, but to some, other and a danger. A civilization that is cruel to its own people is one that the Torah tells us is the most dangerous and problematic. The novelist Pearl S. Buck wrote, "The test of a civilization is the way that it cares for its helpless members." So what of Saddam? What happened in that city when someone was hurt or tragedy struck? We learned how they treat victims of violent crime, forcing them to pay their assailant for a service. This was not the end of their cruelty. The Talmud tells us of another situation. In a case of one who strikes the wife of another and causes her to miscarry, they would say to the woman's husband, "Give the woman to the one who struck her so that she will be impregnated for you again." I cannot describe how heartless and cruel this is. Setting aside the trauma that the woman endures losing a pregnancy and in such a horrible way, but being treated as a literal vessel for a child. The Talmud includes this example to show us how sinful and terrible it is to strip a woman of all her agency and her humanity. Nor can I conceive of being so indifferent as a husband that this would feel like justice, let alone be an acceptable solution. And what of the child, that most helpless member of the society, being raised knowing that they were interchangeable, swapped out for another? There is one other story of Saddam that I want to share, because as we know from the story in the Torah, not everyone there was xenophobic, vengeful, and cruel. There was a young woman who would take bread out to the poor people hidden in a pitcher so that the people of Saddam would not see it. But the matter was revealed, and they smeared her with honey and positioned her on the wall of the city, and the hornets came and consumed her. The Talmud tells us this is what it means when the Torah says, the cry from Saddam is so great. It was her cry that God heard. And the rabbis say it is not just great, it is rabbah, many, strong, and overwhelming whale. It refers to that woman killed for an act of kindness. That is what sealed the fate of the people of Sodom. It is one thing to be cruel as to persecute immigrants and strangers and to deny them sanctuary, refuge, or a home. And it is another thing to deny your own people rights and humanity. But it is something else completely to make compassion and empathy a crime. And when that is the norm, simply being decent looks like menschlichkeit. But in the words of Rabbi Jack Paskoff, you don't get points for being a decent human being. It should go without saying that the bare minimum is tolerance and understanding. Compassion should not be exceptional. It should be the norm. And yet too often it is in short supply. Looking at the ills of the world, we see such cruelty in many places. And then people feel the need to make it worse, to penalize people even for what should be basic human decency. This is not okay. This is not fine. This is not our way. Our charge as Jews is not to simply be okay, to be amoral or neutral participants. No. We are expected to be better. We are commanded to do more. We are commanded to love, to care, to build, and to help. What did the prophet Micah tell us God requires? To do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. An article by Kayla Chadwick says it all. The title of the article, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people. She goes on to say, our disagreement is not merely political, but a fundamental divide on what it means to live in society. The Torah has a lot to say about what it means to live in a society. It is a deeply political document. Rabbi Jill Jacobs teaches that the Torah is political because it lays out a vision for a just civil society. It is political because it forms the basis for a social contract. It is political because it concerns itself with relations among human beings as much as with relations between human beings and God. It is political because a liberation struggle stands at its core. Rabbi Jacobs points out that the Torah demands that those with wealth or power take responsibility for those who have none or who have less. She points out that the Torah forbids those same powerful people from taking advantage of those without. Most critically, she says the Torah is a political document because it is meant to be lived. The Torah is explicit that we are not to live like the people of Sodom. The sin of Sodom is that it causes its people to cry out. People who are powerless, people who are strangers, people who are hurting, people who are kind and compassionate and only want to make life better for their fellow humans. If history is any guide, we know that those who divide people into us and other are always quick to mistreat the other. When we see people as less than human, we treat them in inhuman ways. And who is other is never a static category. It is an ever-growing group with peoples crushed group by group, excluded one after another. It does not have to be this way. We can start by recognizing that everyone, always, has within them the divine spark. That is what it means to be B'Tselem Elohim, to be made in God's likeness. We can welcome the stranger. We can avoid and make sure that we do not subvert justice. We can maintain respect and consideration for humanity in every situation. And should we find ourselves confronted with that lack of empathy, the cruelty or the wickedness that destroyed Saddam, we can remember these words from our tradition. In a place where there is no humanity, strive to be human. Shabbat Shalom. We turn at this time to the Aleinu, which can be found at the bottom of page 282. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit. And it is my honor to invite up for the opening of our ark, Ellen McMullen. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gerula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Thank you. You may be seated. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and in each moment then, in the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. This time we think of those whom death has recently taken, those who died at this season in years past, and those who have drawn into our hearts with our own. At this time, we remember Eric Rosenberg, Jeffrey Four, Kevin Knox, Joanne Reimer, James Jim Alexander, Rebecca Weidman Hoover, Kurt Engelhardt, Debbie Herman, Jerry Zober, Laura Lazarus, Ron Darst, Robert Stearns, Sally Ann Castle-Ryan, Irene Fenton, Patricia Duffier, Joseph Ohayon, Yolanda Jimenez, Nancy Dawes, and on this Shabbat, we commemorate the yard sites of Daniel B. Stage, Sue Berkhammer, Sarah Medine, Robert Potterwills, Irv Jim Dworkin, Great Baba Goodman, Meyer Rosenthal, Andre Beals, Frank Gray, Diane Goodman, Adeline Rubin, Alan Bloom, Tammy Nidzwicki, Amy Garfinkel, Nancy Livingston, Miriam Cooper Reed, and Ralph Wolfstein. If there are other names that you wish to add, again, I encourage you to put those names in the comments online or when my eyes meet yours. Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shmei Rabbah, V'alma Divra, Chirute, V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayachon, V'yomechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala Uzman Kariv Vimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach Le'olam Umei Amaya, Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, V'itpa'ar, V'itromam, V'itnaseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmei, Dukudisha, Barichu. Le'ela, Min Kol, Birchata, Vashirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Damiran, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yesh Lama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. We have some announcements for you this evening. Who's up for that? Renee? All right, thank you. Yours.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Oh, Friday night. Doing the thank yous. Thank you to Rabbi Benjamin Sober for the service and everything you said. That was great. Torah chanters, Rabbi Myra Zofer, Laura Smith was our greeter. Thank you to our live stream text team, Michael Gordon and Naomi Eisner. And our ONEG sponsor is Tova. Tova for her birthday. Happy birthday. Volunteers are needed. We need Torah chanters. Contact the rabbis or Marilyn Roberts. Live stream texts are always needed. Please contact Michael Gordon. We have an ONEG for us in person. It's going to be all gluten-free. I'm looking forward to that. Join us in the social hall for that. And feel free to sign up for an ONEG as well to sponsor one. You can visit our website for details for that. We'll also have a Zoom ONEG in our virtual ONEG room after the service. Tomorrow, Saturday, November 16th, there's a Torah study at 10 a.m. It's for 2 hours. I love Torah study. And then I'm very excited about this event for the library. We're having an edible book event at 1 p.m. in our library here at Temple Sinai. You can sign up online. The information's online, but if you want to ask me after the service, I'll be able to give you information, help you with that if you like. I have a very easy one. I'm so looking forward to showing up for that. Save the date. Sunday, November 17th is Sinai School and the weekday family service at 9:30. 12 o'clock, we're having a library committee meeting. 1 p.m., we're having Who Knew? Jews of the Old West, part 3 of 4. It's very good in a flashback if you ever watched old television, and there's a lot of good information there. At 2 p.m., same day on Sunday, we have a lot going on this weekend. We're having the Novel Noshers. That's our book club event. And there'll be snacks and light refreshments there. And the book is Tablet Shattered, and Dr. Jeff Gingold is hosting it. It'll be really interesting. Tuesday is November 19th, 12 p.m. We have lunch with the rabbis It's BYOL, bring your own lunch, but you can talk to the rabbis. And at 7 p.m., we have a craft or schmooze. That'll be in the library. Bring your craft, whatever it is, paper cutting, crochet, anything you do, I don't know. Thursday, November 21st is a great event. 7 p.m. We're having the Interfaith Thanksgiving service. This is the theme is the power of appreciation at Northern Nevada Muslim Community, 1875 Audie Boulevard in Sparks. Friday, November 22nd, we're having Shabbat again. Saturday, November 23rd, we're back to 10 a.m. Torah study. I really love the Torah study. It's great. Sunday, November 24th, we're having Sinai School. And at 1 p.m., Who Knew? Jews of the Old West, part 4 of 4. So we're wrapping that up. Thursday and Friday, the temple office is closed for the Thanksgiving holiday. And then Friday, November 29th, we're having services with the Oneg hosted by the Rabbi Zobers in celebration of their wedding anniversary. Woo.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. And then Saturday, November 30th, we're having a 10 a.m. Torah study. We have a lot going on in December. We're having many celebrations then, but I think just doing the rest of November should be good. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Real quick, while we're in announcement mode, I put my JPC hat on. Just want to make a general appeal as we move towards planning our winter holiday events. We are in, of course, a funny spot this year with Chrismukkah that many of our friends are traveling and schools are out, but we still want this season to be warm and festive and fortifying for those of us who are in town. So as you are planning your Hanukkah get-togethers and parties, we would love for you to advertise them on the Discord, or if you are as analog as I am, please put them on the Torah-shaped or tablet-shaped corkboards outside the sanctuary so that people can see them as they come to services. We don't want anyone to be alone this Hanukkah, and if you want to have a weird fry everything party, or you want to have a onesie decorating party, or you want to like put 2 things of Trader Joe's latkes in and call it a night, all are good and fine. Just want to encourage you to invite your neighbors and congregants. Okay.
Yes. You can come up or I can relay what you say, but the microphone's there. Yes, please.
Okay. So I wanted to invite everybody So Transport Reno, a local transgender grassroots community organization that I lead, is collaborating with the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship to put on a service this year, a vigil for the Transgender Day of Remembrance. Members of Temple Sinai were in attendance at one of these vigils 2 years ago, and I'd like to extend the invitation again. It will be on Wednesday, November 20th at 6 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship down on Del Monte, 780 Del Monte Lane. And I have a flyer that I can send out in the Discord if that helps. But I wanted to officially extend the invitation and apologize for the short notice. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us of that. All right, since I am all that's standing between you and getting to all the food that Tova has brought for the Oneg, let's get to our closing number, which is Adon Olam. It can be found on page 321. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chef Soko Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Yacharei Kichot HaKol לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמזרח, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי ויצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפקיד רוחי, ביתישן ויהירה, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Shabbat shalom, everyone.